Hello and welcome back to Leo Gaming. Today, well actually to be honest, it's been quite a while since I've done, about a month since I've done a video now. It's purely because I've been busy raising my son and working, so yeah, it's been quite a bit hectic over the last month. So I've managed to do, and to be honest, I randomly bought Assassin's Creed 1, the very first one, because I realised that back in the day when I had it on the Xbox 360, I never actually completed it. I got to the point where you run into one of the towns to get the last baddie to assassinate, and I just gave up for some reason. So I thought I'd just buy it and try and sweep through it this time. So I thought I'd do a review on it. Just be warned, the gameplay I recorded, because I didn't think of doing a video for this until sort of I was on the last bit. So the gameplay I've recorded is literally like towards the end, so you're not going to get all the stuff on it. But to be honest, I'm pretty sure most people have played this game by now. So it's literally the video you're seeing is just a bit of backing to what I'm saying. So yeah, so let's move on. Assassin's Creed 1, developed by Ubisoft, and back in 2001 or 2, I think it was. What a game it was when it came out. It's basically about an assassin called Altair, and you are shamed in the first the first hour, where you sort of make a mistake and you're basically stripped of your rank as an assassin, and you've got to basically work your way back up to become a top assassin for your master, the assassin master, Al-Mualim. And you're sent to assassinate 9 targets. And obviously you travel to Jerusalem, Acre, I'm not sure how you want to pronounce that, and Damascus. Yeah, Jerusalem, Acre and Damascus. And then the last one is Azuf that you travel to. And obviously each character you assassinate, in the end you've got to work your way towards it by doing little side missions. Very repetitive. Obviously for the time it was brilliant, but looking at it now, when you play it now, it is quite boring. There's no reward for anything in it really. You know, synchronization points, there's no reward, there's nothing. It is purely just the gameplay and the story you're playing through. It's still a good game, I will be honest. Graphics are dated. I mean, I'm not going to rave review about this because it is such an old game. The graphics are dated. Still good though, but dated for today's standard. It's AI is very the AI is very dumb, I'll be honest. There's a lot of things that really that at the time probably didn't irritate me, but now you get more modern games and how they make modern games nowadays. A lot of the things back then, it really frustrates me now. There's quite a few things. Obviously, this is where Ubisoft first started using, well, not first, obviously had Prince of Persia, but this is where they first really started trying to do parkour running around an open world. And it tells it's the first attempt because it's so slow climbing up. I mean, you're trying to get away from a load of guards and it says move out of eyesight, basically, to climb up and hide. But by the time you get halfway up the wall, they're throwing rocks at you and you fall down. And it was so irritating. I got so frustrated. I was shouting more at this game than I have done for any modern game, because it's just the mechanics are so dated, and so you can tell it was their first attempt at an Assassin's Creed open world parkour running game. So basically, you know, so you're climbing up there, throw rocks at you, and by the time you get up there, then there'll be another one on the roof, and it's like, well, what's the point of doing the hiding on the roof if you can't actually get away? And I found I was just running half the time, and then when you're running on the streets, you bump into people, and you literally fall over arse over tit, and it's like, seriously, you wouldn't do that in real life. You don't fall over like that. You look where you're going and you can see, and you know, even if you bumped into someone, you don't roll over in this slow. And that's the problem they did with a lot of the mechanics. There was a lot of animations you had to wait for. Like if you bump into someone, you had to wait for him to do the fall over and roll animation before you can start running again. By that point, the guards have caught up with you. The same with the nearly falling off. You have to sort of wait for him to do the little wobble at the edge, drop, catch the ledge, and then you can climb back up. And it's all a bit slow, so slow, and the guards just end up catching it half the time. This was my main gripe, was just a lot of the mechanics of the game are so dated and it is so obvious. What was the other one? There was quite a few, to be honest with you. Random AI characters on the street, like the ones that are supposed to be like psychotic or mental as they're walking around, sort of talking to themselves and making weird noises. They, for some reason, push nobody else. They don't push anybody else, but the moment you walk past, whoosh, some skinny bloke just manages to push you halfway across the street. I don't get it. Yeah, I mean, why is it just you? What, they just gunning for you, are they? They don't go for anybody else in the game. And it's so irritating, especially if they're blocking like a little pathway that you can only go past them. But then once they push you, you again have to wait for the animation. There's an animation that you've got to wait for him to bounce around and then stop. But by that point, the AI character has regained his loop. So then when you try and run past again, he's back to his point where he pushes you again. And it's like, oh my God. Oh my God. And somehow he manages to push you halfway across the street. Yet a guard can't push you five centimetres. It's like, oh my God. That was another thing that why they put these characters in there is beyond me. A character that only targets you but nobody else. It's ridiculous. But, you know, I mean, the game is going to get... It's an old game. It's the first Assassin's Creed. There's going to be a lot of critique on it, but purely because of what modern games can do now. And you can just see the mechanics are so dated. But yeah, apart from that, I mean, the actual gameplay, I completed it within about... I mean, I remember when I played it back in the day, I was trying to do everything, because you didn't have XP, so there's more motivation to do this. So I did try and do the synchronised towers and the kingdom part. Oh yeah, because basically between each town you get a little kingdom part where you can ride your horse. And the only problem with the first one is it's so frustrating with the combat as well, because you end up, it's like a turn-based combat system. You sort of, once you're ready, the controls are a bit flimsy. You have to press the combat things for your sword to shoot, for your sword to come out, and then you sort of lock onto one target, and you basically got a counter maneuver, which works to an extent. I mean, I've heard other people say it kills the combat. It doesn't really, because the problem with I was timing it and I was button mashing it. The counter strike. So when you basically stand there, you could be waiting for like 30 seconds and then wait for that animation of one of the AI soldiers to come towards you. You hit the combat, the counter button, and basically it just counters and kills them straight away. Doesn't work with every character. I worked out that the characters with less armor you can kill straight away. The ones with the helmets, a bit more armor, first he gets a push, and then but even when you push him, you can then just sort of hit him on the ground. So, but you can get up to about 10 people standing around you, all taking in turns, doing a bit of combat. But again, the counter strike, the counter strike thing only works if you do time it right. There's a lot of times I couldn't with the timing. It was either my controller, which I started thinking it was, but then it just wouldn't work. I was like button mashing it. Come on, counter. And it just, nothing happened. So you end up just losing a bit of, quite a bit of health, to be honest. I have to do a few times where you run off to gain a bit of health and then come back. But yeah, like I say, the combat is slow and dull. It's not like your modern Assassin's Creed games where it's all quick. This is quite slow. At the time, it was good, but, you know, we've moved on from that. But again, I mean, I'll be honest. If you want to play this game, play it for nostalgic reasons. That's the reason why I played it. Literally, nostalgic reasons, and the fact that I wanted to complete the game when I didn't complete it all those years ago. Which I did now. And the ending's a bit rubbish, I'll be honest with you. The ending's a pile of rubbish. I actually had to YouTube the ending to make sure it was the ending. I didn't quite get it, but yeah, I won't give it away in case you haven't played it, but let's just say the ending's very dull. I had to literally YouTube the ending to make sure that this was the ending, and I was missing something. So yeah, so you've got that. Again, the graphics, the actual artwork. I mean, to be honest, for the time, The artwork and how it looks is fantastic for the time. You know, it's not your massive. There's these. Well, it is a massive. Well, I say it's open world. It's not really an open world because each area has a loading screen and you have to load into a different area. The kingdom. The only problem with this game is again the enemies seem to just attack you for no apparent reason. Like, I mean, it says don't bring attention to yourself, right? So you don't. You walk, and that includes climbing up walls. I found that start climbing up walls. The enemy guards at the bottom, especially towards later on in the game when their awareness is higher, you're more of a target. They seem to just, even climbing up the wall, they seem to, boop, that's it. They spotted you and you got about 20 of them after you. But even, this is where it becomes annoying, even when you're climbing up a ladder. It's like, what, so I'm not allowed to climb up a ladder now? No one can climb up ladders in this town? No, is that banned, is it? Like, because I was climbing up a ladder and suddenly the guy would go, hey, what's he doing? And you can hear the crowd, hey, what a lunatic. He's climbing up a ladder. You know, it was that sort of thing. It was like, really? You know, there's a lot of things like that and it was just a bit frustrating. But, again, it's an old game. It was good at the time, not so good now. You also get these collectibles which, to be honest, unless you Google it, you're not going to find them all. In the end, I just gave up trying to find them all because you're never going to find them all unless you Google it. And there's too many to actually find, and there's no reward for it. There's no reward. It's not like today's games where you collect a certain amount and you get a reward for it. There's absolutely no reward. With these flags, you get different flags for different armies and different towns, and you know, you'll find them as you're running about, but you don't. There's no, you know. I think there needs to be a bit more of a thing on the map for that, like in the modern day Assassin's Creed, where you get like a little question mark that there's something there, and you get after a certain amount of flags you collect. But obviously, again, this game is old, so you didn't have all that back then. This was purely. I mean, to be honest, one thing that is good about this is it's not too complicated. Today's modern games, open world games, are so complicated, so much on the map, that it just gets a bit overwhelming, whereas this was originally basic, uncomplicated, do the missions, collect some flags if you happen to run by them, do some synchronized points, and do the assassination. And even the little side missions are based on the main mission. Does that make sense? So the side missions are things like you get an informer where they'll ask you to assassinate a certain amount of targets in a certain amount of time, or you'll get to pickpocket a letter, but the letter will be to do with the main target, and there'll be another one where you have to beat someone up until they give up some information, you know, but they're all to do with the main missions. So to be honest, it's uncomplicated. Everything is to do with the main missions. Yes, it's not as long as gameplay as what you get. You're not going to get 40, 50 hours out of this. If you do, then, well, I don't know. That means, I don't know, well, you must be trying to collect the flags without Googling it. So, but, you know, this is, like I say, this is more my personal opinion on the game. This is not a proper review. This is just like a quick, this video was more of a on the spur moment to do a video about this, because hence why the video itself, the actual gameplay footage, is quite late on in the game, because I just thought, sorry, I'd quickly do a Assassin's Creed 1 personal opinion video. What else is there? Was there anything else? Yeah, the horse riding, the little bit of horse riding that you do, clunky, slow, just rubbish. But for nostalgic reasons, if you want to buy this game, it's about a tenner. Oh no, how much did I pay for it? About a tenner. If you want to buy this game, I think they should do a complete remaster of this game, personally. A remake, not a remaster, a remake. They should absolutely, massively make a remake of this game. I think to bring it up to modern day standards, make that Jerusalem area or Damascus more open world with no loading screens. Obviously the horse riding will be like from today's Assassin's Creeds. You know, everything about it. I think they should go back to that and remake the first Assassin's Creed. That would be good. Because it needs it. You know, I think it needs it. Otherwise it will be lost. Because at the end of the day, it's the first one. It's the first Assassin's Creed. And I think Ubisoft need to revisit that. And just remake it, even if they you know, send it out to another dev team to sort it out. They don't have to do it themselves. dev team that's passionate about Assassin's Creed itself and want to remake the first one. I think that'd be a good idea. I think a lot of people will buy that for nostalgic reasons and for new players, youngsters. But like I say, it's a good game. If you want to buy it for nostalgic reasons, that's the only reason why I bought it, just to say I completed it. I got it off tenner. I think it was a tenner, $9.99 off the Xbox store. So yeah, if you want to play it, I hope you enjoyed this personal opinion / review. It's very quick. I'm talking very quickly because like I say, this was a spur of the moment thing. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I will try and pump out some more videos as and when I can. Love to you all. Thank you.